As I stepped into TitanCorp's sleek, modern office building, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sharp scent of new electronics, igniting my excitement. The walls were adorned with images of innovation and success. This was the place where dreams transformed into reality, or so I thought. Just last week, I had landed my coveted position as a junior supply chain analyst. The thrill of finally breaking into the corporate world surged through my veins. But that exhilaration turned to ice the moment I sat across from the CEO, a formidable figure whose stern gaze could slice through steel. "You're out," he said, his voice steady, devoid of empathy. "Your department is downsizing, and we've decided you're the first to go." My heart sank. The words echoed in my mind. "You're out." I felt like a damp rag, useless and tossed aside. "Wait, don't I get a chance to—" I stammered, desperation creeping into my voice. But he held up a hand, cutting me off. "There's nothing more to discuss." As I exited his office, shame washed over me. But deep inside, a flicker of defiance ignited. I refused to walk away. Without a fight. That's when I remembered the contract I had read during my onboarding, a line buried amidst the legalese that could change everything. If I managed to freeze the entire supply chain, I whispered to myself, maybe I can prove I belong here. I shared my audacious plan with Jenna, my quirky and often anxious colleague. "Seriously? You want to freeze $1 billion supply chain?" she gasped, adjusting her thick glasses. "What if it backfires?" "It's a risk worth taking," I replied, adrenaline pumping through me. "If I can expose the flaws here, maybe TitanCorp will realize my value." Little did I know, powerful enemies lurked in the shadows, ready to exploit our bold move. As I delved deeper, I uncovered not just operational flaws, but a web of deceit tightly woven into TitanCorp's very foundation. The stakes grew astronomical, and trust shattered as I realized the truth behind my termination was far darker than I'd ever imagined. But would I be able to hold on to the evidence long enough to turn the tide and reclaim my future? The chilling anticipation steadied my breath. I needed a miracle, and I was determined to find it. Before we continue with this thrilling journey, a quick alert for you who follow our stories. YouTube has been removing subscriptions lately, so check if you're still subscribed and leave your like to support the channel. Now, back to the crucial moment. As the clock ticked ominously, I could feel the weight of my decisions settling around me. Jenna and I huddled over my laptop, our makeshift war room lined with sticky notes and coffee mugs that were now more caffeine than ceramic. "Are we really doing this?" Jenna asked, her voice a mix of excitement and fear. I nodded, steeling myself. "We have to. If I'm going down, I'm taking TitanCorp with me." The thought sent shivers down my spine, but I knew it was now or never. I opened the contract on the screen, the offensive clause glaring at us like a sword ready to strike. "All we need is to invoke this clause to freeze operations," I explained, my fingers dancing over the keyboard. "From there, we can gather intel on what's really happening behind the scenes." Jenna leaned in closer, her brow furrowing. "But if we pull the trigger on this, there's no going back. They'll retaliate." Her hesitation echoed the doubt that slithered through my mind. Was I really prepared for this? As awe and dread mingled, I remembered the faces of my coworkers, some loyal, some conniving. The realization hit me. I'd be risking everything, including their safety. But I couldn't shake off the anger at the injustice of being cast aside without a second thought. "Jenna, think about it. What if they've been hiding something more? If we can unearth that, it's not just about saving my job. It's about accountability." With a heavy sigh, Jenna nodded, her determination rekindled. "Okay, let's do it. But we have to be smart, stay under the radar. Any wrong move could end it all, I know." I cut her off, but my voice wavered. As we prepared to take this giant leap, a sudden chill swept through the office, freezing not just the supply chain, but also the fragile alliances I was about to dismantle. What would happen next? Would our audacious plan backfire, leaving TitanCorp unscathed while we became the casualties of our own ambition? My heart raced at the uncertain future lurking just beyond the horizon. Every moment felt like a countdown, and I was ready to pull the trigger. But I had no idea of the web of deceit that lay ahead, one that would challenge not just my career, but the very fabric of my understanding of loyalty and power. Would my bold move expose the truth, or am I looking at my own downfall? Keep watching, because what I discovered next would change everything. The moment I hit send on my email to invoke the contract clause, a rush of adrenaline coursed through me. I could almost hear the gears grinding to a halt on TitanCorp's production floor. "It's happening!" I exclaimed, my heart racing, but Jenna's face was a mask of concern. "Now we wait, I guess." The silence in the office was palpable as our chosen path loomed ahead, a treacherous jungle waiting to be navigated. Hours felt like days as we sat on the edge of our chairs, our eyes darting towards the conference room every time a figure passed by. But something felt off. The atmosphere thickened with tension, as if the walls themselves were listening. Just as I began to relax, a notification pinged on my laptop, an email from my department head. I leaned over to Jenna, my voice barely a whisper. "This can't be good." "Read it," she urged, trepidation apparent in her eyes. My heart sank as I scrolled through the message detailing an unexpected meeting concerning our supply chain status. Executives were gathering and I wasn't invited. The implication was clear. They were going to discuss their counteractions without me, and that stung like ice against my skin. "They know something," I muttered, anxiety creeping in. Suddenly, the door burst open, and in walked Gregory, the head of operations, his expression stormy. "We're making changes, and it starts now," he announced, ignoring me completely as he cornered a few colleagues by the coffee machine. I caught snippets of their whispers, sabotage and trace back, and my pulse quickened. Were they onto us? Panic rose in my throat as Jenna and I exchanged wide-eyed glances. "We need to dig deeper and fast," I urged. "If they catch wind of our plan..." A flicker of determination ignited within me. I couldn't let their shadowy dealings swallow my bravery. "We have to find out what they're hiding. Now." With a steel resolve, I steeled myself for the confrontation that lay ahead. A game of cat and mouse was about to begin, and the truth was worth every risk. Stay tuned, because in the next few moments, loyalty will be tested, and the dark underbelly of TitanCorp will begin to unravel. What revelations await us? You won't want to miss it. As the hours ticked by, the atmosphere in our office thickened with an electric tension that was hard to ignore. Jenna and I hunched over my computer, nervously refreshing our emails as if that would somehow accelerate the anticipated chaos. The silence grew heavier, punctuated only by the faint buzz of fluorescent lights overhead. "What do you think they're cooking up in there?" Jenna asked, her voice barely above a whisper. She adjusted her glasses anxiously. "Probably plotting our demise," I replied, trying to share a bravado I wasn't sure I felt. "But whatever they think they know, they're not ready for what we're about to uncover." Just then, my phone buzzed, a message from an anonymous source I had reached out to earlier that day, stirring my heart into a frenzy. It was simple and to the point. "Board meeting at 3 p.m. Look for the projector slides." I glanced at the wall clock. It was nearly 2:45 p.m. The timing felt like a ticking bomb, and anxiety danced in my chest. "This is our chance," I said, adrenaline surging through my veins. "We need to find a way into that meeting." Jenna's lips turned into a line of concern. "It's just too risky. What if they catch us?" No risk, no reward, right? I shot back, attempting to keep my voice steady. We didn't come this far to back down now. We'll just blend into the shadows. Jenna nodded, albeit reluctantly. All right then, but let's have an exit strategy ready. The two of us practically raced to the conference room, our hearts thumping in synchrony, navigating the maze of cubicles like seasoned spies. As we approached the door, I couldn't shake the dread gnawing at my gut. The implications of what we were about to witness could change everything, for better or for worse. Ready? I murmured, gesturing for Jenna to follow behind me. Taking a deep breath, I grabbed the door handle and pushed it open with an echoing creak. Inside, the room was packed, a mix of executives, department heads, and a few unfamiliar faces. They were all huddled around a large projector screen, displaying data charts, their conversations swirling like a tempest. I felt a rush of instinct as I scanned the crowd, quickly spotting an empty seat at the back where we could slip in unnoticed. Over there, I pointed to Jenna, who nodded and quickly followed me to the seat. As we settled in, I tried to focus on the projector while fighting off the rising tide of panic in my chest. The head of operations, Gregory, stepped up to the podium. I'm sure you're all aware of the sudden changes in our supply chain operations. We've seen some unusual disruptions lately, and we need to pinpoint the source of these issues before it spirals out of control. I exchanged a glance with Jenna, who looked pale. They know something's wrong, she murmured, gripping her notebook like a lifeline. Before we discuss our strategies for mitigation, I'll be showing you a summary of our findings, Gregory continued, clicking the remote in hand. The screen transitioned to a series of graphs and reports that made my heart race. The numbers seemed innocuous at first, but as they scrolled by, I began to notice alarming patterns, irregular drops in production, unexplained losses, and a sudden spike in supply costs. My instincts screamed at me. These anomalies weren't mere operational hiccups. They hinted at something far deeper, something sinister. We have reason to believe, Gregory said, his brows knotted in seriousness, that there's been internal sabotage. Gasps erupted around the room, and I felt my throat tighten. Internal sabotage? Did they suspect me and Jenna? Gregory continued. If we don't find the culprit soon, TitanCorp's reputation and revenue will take a severe hit. We need to act swiftly. Should we involve legal? Someone questioned, uncertainty cloaked in their voice. Absolutely not, Gregory replied sharply. We keep this inside. If there's any exposure, it could undermine our negotiations with investors. His gaze swept the room, landing on me for just a moment, and a chill ran down my spine. Jenna. I leaned over to whisper, this isn't just about my future anymore. We can't let them cover this up. I agree, but we need proof. If they want to pin this on someone, we need to be ahead of them, she whispered back, wide-eyed. As the meeting progressed, I couldn't tear my eyes away from Gregory's aura of authority. He was hiding something. I could feel it. Each word he spoke felt like a thread, weaving a larger tapestry meant to obscure the truth. Why would anyone inside the company sabotage it from within? Unless they stood to gain something from it. As the meeting drew to a close, I took note of the time. We need to go now, I urged Jenna. But fate had other plans. Just as we were about to slip out, Gregory's voice boomed again, halting us in our tracks. Before we wrap things up, I want to introduce our new head of security, Evelyn Carter. The room stirred as a formidable woman with an air of sharp intelligence entered the room, extending her hand confidently. The eyes in the room diverted toward her, but I couldn't shake the unease settling within me. The last thing I wanted was for a head of security to become an obstacle in our pursuit of the truth. Loneliness and defiance flickered within me. I had to do something. Ambition isn't only dangerous, it's revealing. I muttered under my breath, recalling my silent vow to expose the hidden truths. Evelyn has experience with corporate espionage and sabotage, Gregory continued. I expect all of you to cooperate with her and report any suspicious activities immediately. We'll be tightening security protocols. A jolt of realization sent a thrill down my spine. If they were tightening security, our window of opportunity was closing fast. I turned to Jenna, my mind racing with the possibilities. We need to find out what Evelyn knows. This could be our key to uncovering the truth. The tension in the room hung thick as I realized the stakes had risen, shifting dangerously. I felt a surge of courage, a determination to push forward regardless of the shadows that loomed. With the meeting over and people already filtering out, Jenna and I remained momentarily frozen, staring at each other wide-eyed. "Is this really happening?" she finally asked. "We just need to get to the bottom of this," I replied, my resolve strengthening. As we made our way back to the main office, my heart pounded with purpose. I could feel the walls of TitanCorp closing in around me. But there was a fire igniting just beneath the surface, a determination to unearth the company's darkest secrets. Next, we focus on Evelyn. She'll lead us to critical information, I whispered, sparking a new fire in Jenna's eyes. We're about to make a move that no one will forget. The anticipation crackled in the air, a potent reminder that each choice could propel us into uncharted territory or lead to our ruin. Little did I know, the next chapter would hold revelations that would push us beyond our limits, and perhaps lead to salvation or destruction. Don't miss out, because what comes next is bound to shake TitanCorp to its core. Stay tuned for the chaotic fallout that awaits. As the moments ticked away, I felt the tension building like a dark storm hovering above TitanCorp. Jenna and I exchanged glances, filled with resolve and fear. We had crossed dozens of lines already, and now we were on the brink of uncovering the very secrets that could cost us everything, or save our careers. The gravity of what was ahead pressed on my chest like a weight I couldn't shake off. "Okay, let's start with Evelyn," I said, pushing through the anxiety. If she has any insights into the company's troubles, it could lead us straight to the heart of it. We needed to gather intel quickly. The longer we waited, the more chance there was of being discovered. "Are you sure we can trust her?" Jenna asked, her brows knitting together. "She works closely with Gregory. What if she's in on it?" Those words sent a cold shiver down my spine. I wasn't sure if trust was a luxury I could afford anymore, especially in a corporate landscape crawling with espionage. "We've come this far, and we can't let fear hold us back," I replied, my voice steadying. "Let's not overthink this. We can play this smart." "All right, let's do it," she said, determination glimmering in her eyes. We scurried back to our desks, opting for the disguise of busy analysts while I darted quick glances at the break room door. Evelyn would be arriving any moment, and if we were going to approach her, it had to be discreet. Just as I was about to lose hope, the door swung open, and in she walked, with a commanding presence that turned heads and hushed voices. I suddenly knew why Gregory chose her. She was sharp, and her energy crackled with authority. "Now or never," I murmured to Jenna. We made our way toward her, hearts racing in our chests. "Excuse me, Miss Carter," I started, feeling the weight of the moment. "We're junior analysts in the supply chain department, and we noticed some anomalies in the recent reports that might be of interest regarding the operational disruptions. Do you have a moment to discuss?" Evelyn's striking gaze fell upon us, a flicker of curiosity surfacing behind her sharp demeanor. "Operational disruptions, you say? Interesting." My heartbeat quickened as she motioned for us to follow her to a quieter corner. "I have a few moments before my next meeting. What have you found?" Trying to contain my excitement, I began detailing the discrepancies Jenna and I had uncovered. Each word felt like a step into uncharted territory. I watched her face for any glimmers of support or hesitance. She listened intently, and I could sense her interest peaking. "That's quite concerning," she remarked. "If you're right, this goes deeper than mere operational errors." "Do you think it's sabotage?" Jenna chirped in, eyebrows arching in genuine curiosity. Evelyn paused, weighing her words carefully. "With everything happening lately, it's a possibility. I'd advise both of you to tread carefully. There are many layers to this organization, and sometimes the truth isn't what it seems." The caution in her tone made my stomach twist, but behind her warning, I caught a hint of something more. She was looking for allies. "We believe there's a cover-up," I pressed, my voice barely a whisper. "If you can help us access the files we need, we might be able to put a stop to it." Evelyn's composure hardened. "This is risky business you're proposing. If you're caught, it could cost you." "Then let it cost me," I replied, my voice steadying into resolve. "I won't allow TitanCorp to bury the truth." Her eyes narrowed slightly, a thoughtful expression crossing her face. "You're more tenacious than I expected." At that moment, I knew I had her intrigue. "Help us, and we'll make sure TitanCorp is set back on the right course. I only ask for a chance to prove my worth." Evelyn's expression softened just a fraction. "Maybe you're looking to expose more than operational flaws. All right, let's see what we can uncover together." Days turned into a whirlwind of late nights and whispered conversations as we gathered intel, weaving through the chaos enveloping TitanCorp. We pulled together evidence that led to secrets darker than I could have imagined: bribery, safety compromises, and financial corruption that pointed right back to the very executives overlooking us. Each revelation strengthened my resolve. TitanCorp's facade was crumbling right before my eyes. The day finally arrived when we presented our findings to the board, a reckoning of sorts. I stood at the front of the room, flanked by Jenna and Evelyn, adrenaline charging through my veins. Today, I stand before you with evidence of wrongdoing that has plagued TitanCorp for far too long. I began, facing the faces that had once cast me off. If we want to move forward, we must first confront this darkness hiding right under our noses. I held the room's attention, the stillness punctuated by my heartbeat echoing in my ears. They listened, not just to the words, but to the conviction that enveloped them. The option to dismiss me was gone. I had emerged from obscurity, ready to reclaim my future. As the board reacted with shock and disbelief, a wave of grim satisfaction surged through me. I had frozen their $1.3 billion supply chain, not just with one line in a contract, but with sheer tenacity and courage. Before I could relish the victory, I turned toward Jenna and Evelyn, a team forged in the fires of the turmoil. "We did this together," I whispered, my heart swelling with pride. In that moment, I knew the journey hadn't just changed my career. It had changed me entirely. I had grown into the role I once yearned to embody. My voice finally heard. As the dust began to settle and the board pledged to implement change, I realized there were countless stories yet to be told, journeys yet to unfold in this world of corporate intrigue. If our story resonated with you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep following along as we unpack more tales of courage in the face of adversity. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. Until next time,